Panasonic is truly a big name in multimedia products and one of 4 premium TV brands along with Sony, LG and Samsung. This market segment has pretty ruthless competition, so both expertise and big investments are required for products to be at a high level that is expected of premium class. At this year's IFA fair in Berlin, Panasonic had a very impressive stand that showcased all of its new products and technologies, but that also showed that this manufacturer has very ambitious plans for this and the next year. All around the stand you could see the phrase "Hollywood in your home" that indicated that the company had some next level thing prepared for its lineup of 4K TVs. What lies behind this promise is Panasonic's new HCX Pro intelligent image processor that incorporates different algorithms and video processing techniques to utilize the panel's capabilities in the best way possible and hopefully create some impressive results. Now, these things always sound great in marketing pamphlets, but do they actually deliver what is promised? We got a chance to see for ourselves 2 months after the fair, as we have received one of Panasonic's new OLED TVs. GZ950 is a fairly affordable OLED model, so a 55-inch version we tested costs around 1400 euros, which is about $1,550 but it offers practically all the advantages of HCX Pro processing that a lot more expensive GZ1500 and GZ2000 series models have. Design-wise, there is absolutely nothing special about this TV. Bezel is thin, but there is an additional black margin before the part of the screen that actually displays the picture, and the stand is simple and super heavy, made of cast steel. Practically the only somewhat visually interesting detail is slightly receded line at the bottom where the logo is at, along with the LED indicator and the remote receiver. The usually thin OLED panel is protected from the back and sides by a slick metal case, a unibody as it is called on mobile phones, but the part of the TV that houses all the electronics is a bit thicker than it usually is on other OLED models, though there might be a reason for this that we will talk about a bit later. Beside electronics, it also houses the 4 HDMI, 3 USB, component audio and video, and satellite and antenna connectors, as well as optical audio and analog headphone or subwoofer audio outputs. We were somewhat disappointed that HDMI is not 2.1 but 2.0, so the input signal is supported only up to 4K with 60 frames per second, with no support for variable refresh rate. Good news though for those that intend to use it for gaming is that input lag is fairly low, measured at about 21.5 milliseconds. We expected the HDMI 2.1 because we saw it on this year's LG OLED models, and Panasonic GZ950 is based on LG OLED panel, 4K of course, and with a refresh rate of 120 Hz. The panel is a true 10-bit one and offers a measured color gamut of about 86% of DCI-P3 spectrum. Its maximum brightness is rated at 700 nits, unlike 1000 nits offered by aforementioned GZ2000, so those 300 nits are one of the reasons the other model is almost twice as expensive. We usually say that 1000 nits is the line at which the real HDR begins, but since this is OLED and its black levels and dynamic range in darker parts of the spectrum are uncomparable to LCD type panels, that more than makes up for it. Still, it's a fact that you'll get more out of an OLED TV in a darker room. Now back to Hollywood. One of the ideas behind the slogan we mentioned was that TV comes with calibrated profiles, which, as Panasonic claims, are done in association with Hollywood producers in order to make the movie viewing experience as authentic as possible. This resulted in an unprecedented number of available picture profiles, more than we saw on any previously tested TV, so beside the usual cinema, game, dynamic, normal and sport, you'll find 2 professional modes, True Cinema, Professional Photo, as well as THX Bright Room and THX Cinema. 5 of those modes offer a very high color accuracy with delta E deviation under 2.5, and the most precise ones are Professional 2 and THX Cinema with a very impressive 1.9. Professional calibration out of the box is surely commendable and a great additional value for anyone looking for faithful color reproduction. Still, not everyone likes the look of a calibrated display, and a lot of users actually prefer a more dynamic and visually exciting look. Even though none of the factory profiles are aimed at those kind of users, the good news is that THX Pro offers so many tuning and tweaking options that you'll be able to make your own profile that takes full advantage of this powerful image processor. And when you turn all the advanced stuff on, it will blow you away, mainly because of its ability to automatically adjust color vibrancy and a very well implemented sharpness filter. Besides that, in its arsenal, this TV also has color and dynamic range remastering to adjust the picture to the features of this particular panel, as well as improving the level of detail with resolution remastering. All of these functions are done well without going overboard and give noticeable improvements, especially in darker scenes or high dynamic range content, making movie watching a real pleasure. There's also a light sensor that adjusts the screen brightness to the ambient light in your room. What we liked the most was the intelligent frame creation function, which through frame interpolation and some additional magic in the form of the blur and the judder algorithms, makes the video look smoother and more fluid and uses all the advantages of a fast refresh 120Hz panel. This has a very noticeable effect when watching movies and sports, and we think it is one of the best, if not the best, implementation of this kind of processing. When you turn everything to the max, action is super smooth and clear, although sometimes very fast-moving objects can have some artifacts along their edges, which is a problem we often see on other models as well. The built-in processor's performance is absolutely commendable, as even when using all the processing functions, the TV runs smoothly and with no stutters or dropped frames, which is something we don't see that often and that very much contributes to an impression of a premium product. To round up the talk about image, we'll mention that this model supports HDR10, 10+, HLG and Dolby Vision HDR standards, so you'll be able to view practically any high dynamic range content. As for the sound, it's similar to the visual part in the sense that there's a myriad of options and advanced functions to be found in the menu. The quality is very good with nice bass response and overall power of 50 watts split into 4 speakers. Besides high and low frequency adjustments and an 8-band EQ, there is also a bass boost option which makes this TV's sound even more convincing when watching movies or listening to music. Interesting detail is the ability to use headphones output to connect the external subwoofer and thus further improve an already good sound. Also, you can connect external speakers or a soundbar via Bluetooth. The strongest point of this TV's sound are the surround sound options. Dolby Atmos is supported, but there's also an option for additional surround sound processing, both for multi-channel and stereo sound sources. That option allows you to select Dolby Surround, Cinema Surround, Cinema Surround Pro or Stadium Surround, and each of the presets will give you a different ambient feel. Overall soundstage this TV offers is very large and wide, and along with a high picture quality, makes for a very good movie viewing experience. Now, with all the good stuff, there's gotta be some bad too, and it concerns smart capabilities, which are this TV's weakest point. It runs on My Home Screen 4.0 platform, which compared to what we saw from other competitors seems poor and not very usable. Sure, it's fairly easy to pick what you want to watch, but interface and content suggestions are just nowhere near the level we expect in this class. Also, selection of apps in the built-in market is very modest, and besides YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Plex and Deezer, I doubt you'll find anything particularly useful. It's a shame because we believe that this TV deserves a better smart platform. To add insult to injury, the somewhat large remote has plenty of keys with bad rubbery feedback, and their layout is not very good, so while moving through the menus, you'll often accidentally activate Netflix or home screen. The impression the controls leave is far from what we got in image and sound department, to say the least. Oh, and forget about voice control. Worth a mention for those of you that are concerned about OLED burn-in and image retention is that this model comes with a whole set of options for prolonging your panel's life, including automatic micro-shifting of the image, unnoticeable of course, logo dimming, as well as a panel maintenance mode we haven't seen on LG OLED models. All in all, Panasonic GZ950 OLED TV leaves a great impression when it comes to the most important aspects, picture and sound. Their level of quality, as well as numerous options that will allow you to tweak every little detail to your liking, are something that makes this model stand out even among some harsh competition. Inadequate smart OS and remote somewhat ruined the great impression, so this TV will be a good choice for users that don't mind it, and that instead of frequent channel hopping, use this TV mainly for movies, which after all is its primary purpose. Honestly, we would rather connect it to some good Android box and forget all about the built-in smart OS. Even with these shortcomings, this is still one of the best TVs we've tried when it comes to watching movies and sports, so if you have 1400 euros laying around and are on the lookout for a new TV, it is certainly worth a consideration. Thank you for watching Benchhouse review of Panasonic's OLED TV. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, please leave a like and make sure to check out our channel for more interesting content. See you next time.